Sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here, ministers. My question will be primarily focused on with respect to Minister Hajdu. First of all, I understand that Minister Freeland, former Minister Freeland, was quite popular amongst colleagues, and we've invited her, and she's yet to show up. So maybe you could mention the fact that we'd love to see her at Transportation Committee. Next up, I'm glad to see, in all seriousness, that there's some acknowledgement of the problem that's been created over the last 10 years. That there's finally been acknowledgement that over the last 10 years, the Liberal government has mismanaged the immigration system and the TFW system, and that they've mismanaged the CRA to the extent that both the misclassification and the TFW program have led to numerous fatalities on our highways. And I'm glad to see there's some acknowledgement of that. But what my concern is, over 10 years, we have seen this problem get worse and worse and worse. In fact, we saw the Insurance Bureau came and they told us that there's been 80% increases. There have been people died in my riding because of your government's failure to manage the TFW program and the classification of drivers. So I'm glad to see that there is an acknowledgement of that. But I want to dig down and see if we can get some results here. What is the date that the Drivers Inc. problem will cease to be an issue in Canada? Give me that date.
Well, I mean, first of all, look, as I said in my speech, this began with a deregulation that allowed for this practice to flourish. And so that actually happened under the Harper Conservatives in 2011. And over the years, the program, the process began to multiply. So we've actually, as of today, announced that we are reversing a moratorium on T4As. This is something that the Trucking Alliance is pleased with. Obviously there are lots of efforts to streamline doing business in this country, but sometimes we have to take a step back and realize that some regulations really matter, and this one evidently did. I would also say that the licensing and the training of truck drivers is firmly in the lands of provincial jurisdiction. And that's why this partnership with provinces and territories is so important, because we can't actually get to the infractions from a driving capacity licensing way without the provinces and territories.
According to the Insurance Bureau, we've seen an 80% increase in accidents in Ontario and 88% in Ontario or in Alberta. We've seen over 80% in Atlantic. This is a national problem. We would love to have some national leadership. So I'm going to ask you again, at what date will the Drivers Inc. issue cease to exist in Canada?
Well, I think we're actually getting somewhere, because what we have not only done is send a strong signal through the industry, but also crack down on individual companies, small, medium, and large, that have
Minister,
used this
we're
practice.
trying to schedule a meeting to have the victims here. Unfortunately, your party is filibustering that. They're unwilling to listen to the victims. The victims, it's cold comfort for them to hear that we're making some progress.
The drivers that have been misused? Is that the
victims as well? Sure, absolutely, as well as those who have died on our highways because of your government's inability to properly classify drivers and to handle the TFW program in a sensible manner. They would find it very cold comfort to hear we might be making progress someday. At what date will the Drivers Inc. program cease to be an issue?
Well, we hope that it will cease to be an issue immediately, and that's the work that we're doing to invest in the tools that we need to catch these bad actors. And today's announcement goes a long way. Announcement goes a long way to sending a message throughout the industry that we are taking even further measures by sharing information back and forth between ESDC and CRA, by working with provinces and territories in a deep collaboration. I would say we all share this deep grief that you're talking about. I mean, we've all known people who have lost their lives. I live in Northern Ontario. Highway 1117 goes through my riding. In many places, only 2 lanes. We've invested $70 million towards doubling the lanes in my riding, and I expect that we work in partnership with provinces and territories to continue that work to make our roads safe. So it's an issue of infrastructure, it's an issue of investment, and it's an issue of cracking down on bad drivers. And we need the provinces for that, by the way, because if someone is licensed to drive in this country and they don't actually have the skills to drive, they're putting my son's life at danger, who is also, by the way, a licensed AZ driver, who is on the roads hauling equipment back and forth from job sites. So you know, when you talk about victims, I really want you to know that we all share the grief and we all share the responsibility to push on our provinces and territories to do better on all of our behalfs in partnership with the work that we're doing today.
We also
so,
owe
Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that I find it actually really,
she went over it.
really
That's
distressing that we're going to
I've let her go.
weaponize
You have
grief
to let
in
me
this
go
room.
for 15 seconds here. Thank you. I share your grief, but we also have a duty and responsibility
I'll
to
make sure
these
that
victims.
you get the additional time. I want to make sure that I don't disrespect Mr. Greaves. He has 5 minutes that I have to respect as well. But Mr. Lawrence, I will give you additional time if you want to go next time.